Micheal, really good performance in midweek. Any ill effects from it? How's your squad for Sunday? How do you expect to use your squad?
No, it'd be the strongest team possible for the game. One or two bumps and bruises, but nothing major. Boys have had a couple of days recovery, so we'll train tomorrow and then make our mind up on the team. Ridvan and John Suter and Leon King are all available for selection as well, so it's a difficult decision to cut that from 21 to 18 for the weekend.
How do you balance giving some players minutes perhaps who've been out and haven't had game time with the pressures to get through the tie?
No, it'll be the strongest team. It's a quarter-final. It's important. The team set a standard in the last couple of games, the boys that have started. So as long as there's no issues, it'll be close to those two teams, and the other boys will have to fight in training to earn their minutes. And if the game allows, we'll give people minutes. But this is a quarter-final, so we're playing it as if it's we're giving it the respect that it deserves.
Always an onus to win the competition at this football club, but given the League Cup final result, given the league position, would you concede there's an extra focus on how you're doing it now?
Yeah, of course. We won the trophy last year, so there's been an extra focus for this competition, probably back from pre-season. That is something that you want to retain. It's the last game of this season as well, so we want to get to Hampden firstly for a semi-final and then push on to the final, and ultimately our aim is to win the competition. It's really important to us. It's important that the group continue to show improvement.
You talk about building your style. On Wednesday night, Antonio and Fashion seem to link up really well together, each of them getting goals. Is that something that you think can build going forwards and we could see it again this weekend?
Yeah, I think for Antonio, he was injured before I come in, and since I come back in, he's been fighting for fitness. He had a period where he was coming back and he got injured again. He's played bit parts here and there, but I think he's had 4 starts since I've come back, 3 goals, a couple of assists. Certainly in the last week, he's looked sharp, his energy and his personality on the pitch has been seen, and Fashion works off him. I thought the front three were excellent the other night, as were the midfield. There wasn't a bad performance in our team, and if you've got the shirt, I think it's right you keep it. Before then, Alfredo had the shirt and was doing well, but in this moment right now, it would be very harsh on Antonio if we was to take him out.
Is that a difficult conversation to have with Alfredo when he's played with you so much before the last couple of weeks?
Not really, no. I think he understands it. I think he's a number 9. He knows you could play them both and take Fashion out, but it wouldn't be fair on Fashion either, so it's a nice place to be. We've not always had them options this season, and now we do. They have to fight out in training, and when they get minutes, they have to own the shirt. That's a nice place for me to be in, having competition. Sometimes that can be a big driver for the players in terms of their standards.
Micheal, can I talk more about that? You've spoken about in the summer reducing the squad size. You said it's a point of change this summer. What's the right number for you in terms of the size of the squad?
Well, listen, if you have 2 10s, so you have a double outside outfield position, that gives you 20. You'd like an extra striker, possibly if you want to play at times 3 at the back, an extra centre-half, so that gives you 22, 23, plus goalkeepers. I think the reason the squad's been slightly larger is we had players out on loan, and we've had players with long-term injuries, and the club's obviously had to go and sign replacements. So the squad's large at the minute. I think the budget is very healthy for us as a club. It's just obviously spread out a little bit. And this summer gives us a chance to make some, like any summer, like any window, to make some decisions to trim the squad a bit and at the same time add competition. Because if you lower the number, you add the competition, the quality goes up. And I think coming out of the January window, we had 1 player leave, obviously, young Charlie McCann went down to play in England. And we brought Nico Raskin and Todd Cantwell in. And I think every game that goes, you're seeing that's good decisions, and they're getting fitter and stronger. Neither of them have played for a couple of months before coming into the club, so we needed them to get up to speed with their teammates, with the style, with the ideas. And I think certainly in the games they've played, they've both shown a lot of promise, and we need to go and do that again in the summer and then into next winter. Every window we want to do that and be moving forward. So it's not like I want to kick anybody out the door. It's just I want to bring the numbers in line with which I think is more manageable.
Ryan Kent was outstanding the other night. His performances have gone up a level since you returned to the club. You've obviously got a strong, a special relationship with him. I promise not to clear a list of names here, but has he told you he wants to stay at Rangers Football Club?
We've had discussions around it, and we've both parked everything until we find the moment. So the next moment will be the international break where we sit and have another chat. We're both core, we're both on the same page. And I think it's right after the amount of years he's been here and the changes in his third manager here as well, that he takes a time to consider his options, and it's the same time that we do as well. We've not put anything in front of him, we've just had conversations. It would be, at this moment in time, I think that's the best place to be. Is Ryan Kent playing very well at this moment in time? Yes, so there's no issue. So we just keep moving forward. I'm still building the squad that I want for next year, and if he's in, it's because he desperately wants to be here. If he's out, it's because he didn't. So it's quite clear in that sense, and our relationship will always remain the same. It's a young boy that I see at the start of his journey, so I'm very proud of what he's achieved so far in his career.
A lot of guessing games around the squad for the Rangers fans at the moment. How much can they read into looking ahead to next season, the starting 11s that you're going with right now, and does a performance of Wednesday night change your thinking at all on any players in terms of comings and goings?
No, listen, I'm really clear on the decisions. We're just not going to communicate them to the summer until that we feel that the time's right. The decisions in my head, and I've communicated them where I need to, are made.
Is international break the time where you speak to all the guys who have got issues with their contracts? Yeah,
and listen, my door's always open. They can come and speak to me, and no one seems to be in a difficult place or have a lack of clarity at the minute. Everyone seems to be happy and playing well. Our form has been really, really strong, and our performances of, as of late, the last couple of games, certainly the first half of the Kilmarnock game and pretty much the whole game the other night were really strong performances. So I just take it off of that. I've got 4 or 5 waiting on the side that are chomping at the bit to get into the team, so I'm in a good place at the moment.
Can I ask you about Tom Lawrence, who's had some disappointing news?
Yeah, unfortunately, Tom Lawrence had another operation, which means he'll be back in pre-season. He's a player that I really wanted to work with. He's a player that I knew as a young player, playing against my Liverpool team when he was at Man United, and I've followed his career. He's an international. He started the season ever so well, didn't he? And showed up well, and then had this problem with his Achilles. He tried to come back. He was out training on his own, but had some discomfort. So he went and see the specialist, and it hadn't repaired how he wanted, so he's had a little minor operation there, and we're back in time for pre-season. I'll add on that as well, Kamar Roof has had a minor operation. He'll be back for pre-season as well. So the decision was taken that with the short amount of league games left, it was better to get these boys ready for a new campaign, and they'll be important players for us come pre-season for sure.
Was Kamar's?
Kamar's with his hip.
Just going back to the Scottish Cup itself, we mentioned earlier the League Cup disappointment. How much is that fueling the desire to make sure that you lift this cup come the end of the season?
Well, listen, we have to play in all the competition we're in. This season's given at different times some disappointment, but in the Scottish Cup, none of that counts. What counts is that we have a quarter-final at the weekend at home. It's a home draw in the quarter-final is a favourable draw for Rangers, and we just need to make sure that we're at our best and we get ourselves back to Hampden for a semi-final. There's no hangover. I don't think that's healthy. I think we just have to be focused on retaining this trophy. And I think if we play to our true level, then we've got a really good chance of doing that.
You mentioned about the turnover that could happen in the summer. Is that the message to some of the players who may not be here this year, next year as well, that this is a chance to really make your mark in your Rangers career if it is to change come the summer?
Yeah, look, I think every game at the moment we're evolving. We're working on a number of things in training to evolve and grow in different ways. You've seen it really go well at certain moments, in midweek, and at other moments you've seen it be a bit indifferent. But we're focused on the work and where we're going in the future and listen, in the short-term future, there's how many league games left in the Scottish Cup, and every game counts here. It's not like we can skip one. We're not allowed to do that, and that's right. We're in a really privileged position, and every time we play, we have to uphold that. And if someone comes off it, then I'm trying to add competition that someone goes in. John Lundstrom don't like being out on the team at the moment. Alfredo's not the happiest man in the world because the other guys are scoring. That's how competition should be. John Suter wants to get back in. Ridvan wants to chase Borna down, and there's Glenn Kamara, and Malik is in and around it as well, coming back, and we know how strong he was playing. So Yanis has come back from a long-term injury. We've got a lot of players who don't want the end of the season because they want to obviously get their legs up and running.
For that evolution to continue and maybe even accelerate? Do you almost need to win this trophy to accelerate that and show you're on the right path?
Listen, it would be the right way, wouldn't it? Because it's the Scottish Cup and we want to win it, we want to retain it. And at the moment, I think the way that we're playing, why wouldn't we be confident? Let's get past this game at the weekend.
How do you feel about cup games, Micheal, straight after league games? Can it be difficult to factor in the level of jeopardy in cup games?
No, because it feels like most of the games we've played since I come in have been cup games anyway. We've had to win every one. That's what it's like at Rangers. You have to win every one. The away games have been a little bit more exciting than the home games at Ibrox because the other teams have come and tried to attack us and try and win the game. Fair play to Partick Thistle in the last round. I didn't think they'd come to sit back, and they got the penalty off the VAR, and it was quite an eventful evening. I'm hoping for a slightly more less controversial afternoon on Sunday, and let's just get to a semi-final. But no, like every game here we have to win, so every game is like that. It's on a knife edge, and that's just what being at a big club's like. It's not acceptable for us to draw, and it's certainly not acceptable for us to lose games.
What are you expecting from Raith on Sunday then?
They've lost 1 in 10 games, so they're in good form. It was the last game they lost, so maybe that's a motivation from this week in terms of their training and I'm sure Ian's getting into them. Obviously, he played for the club. And then, secondly, the warning's there. They beat Motherwell 3-1 in the last round. So the warning is there for us.
Micheal, just venturing back to Wednesday night, some of the football that Rangers played was probably as high as it's been in several years. Factor around that was tempo and one-touch style of play, especially the midfield three. Todd Cantwell was exceptional, maybe playing a different role than what supporters maybe thought he was coming in as a 10, but he fitted in that flat three really well. How did you rate the balance in the midfield, the tempo and the football they played?
I felt Ryan Kent was essential to the midfield because they didn't know where to pick Ryan up, and it gave space to Nico and Todd, and then vice versa. When they went after Todd, it gave space to Ryan. So Ryan Jack was excellent. Connor Goldson doing overlaps down the wing. That wasn't part of the plan, but look, Bigham was enjoying it, wasn't he? So, and he scored on the night as well. I reminded him of that yesterday. So, no, look, I think that they're playing well. It's early in their Rangers careers. There's a lot of opinion, 360 that will come their way at the moment. They're favouring good opinion. So I would say to them, enjoy it while it lasts, because first time they misplace a pass, you guys will be going for them. But no, I'm pleased with both young men. They get on off the pitch as well. They brought a nice energy into the building. And when the window opens, more like that, please.
There was a period of play just between 50 minutes and 70 minutes. Rangers scored twice, Antonio had his chance, Borna had his run. There was a lot going on. People have said that's probably the best spell that Rangers have had in several years. Did you pick up on that, and that you kind of fed back to the players as well?
Listen, I think this team are capable of more and doing it more often. Have to put, Hibs were in a good place going into the game the other night, but we played really well on the evening. But obviously this team beat Borussia Dortmund last year and Leipzig to get to a European final, and in years before it came off a good run where they've beaten teams like Porto and Feyenoord and PSV. So we have to put it in context. Every game's different, the level of opponent you play against, but you can only play the next game. And going into the game at Hibs, I'm fair that the outside observers would have thought it would have been an interesting evening for us, and obviously we performed ever so well on the night. It's just 3 points, and I want nothing less in terms of the standard of performance this weekend. It will be a completely different challenge, Steve. I think they'll come and they'll obviously they'll sit deep and make life difficult for us, which makes the game slower. Two teams play the game, and I think if Raith come and they have a go, that will give us more space to play into, so the game becomes faster. For example, if Fashion's running into space and Ryan is, if they come and sit back, then we'll have to be patient and find a way playing closer together. So every game's different. I think the 2 games we played in Edinburgh recently, fair play to Hearts and Hibs. They came and they really tried to face us head on, and it made for 2 excellent games of football.
Hi Micheal, you mentioned you've been working on a different way of playing, maybe a different shape. Could you give us a little bit of insight into what you think that will achieve, and are there any current players you think that change might benefit the most?
Not at this moment in time, but if you watch the game the other night, there'll be some patterns in that game that will emerge. So I'll let you do that, because I know that you like that side of it anyway, so you can go off and have a look at that. But Listen, every time you change or you move the goalposts a little bit in terms of ideas, it shuffles the pack a little bit. I think I can get more out of this Rangers squad right now. And I think also I can recruit into it interestingly in the summer and the next winter, and just keep making us stronger all the time. They've shown over 17 games a level of consistency to win 15 and draw 1 and only lose 1 of those 17 games. But it's important as well that within that we recognise the moments where we were really good and the moments where maybe we're just okay, and we need to, what team are we going to be moving forward?